Welcome to Soul Study, the podcast where we explore personal growth, spirituality, and the deeper questions of what it means to consciously create a life we love. Think of this as your weekly book club for the soul. Each episode will study powerful ideas from transformative books, reflect how they apply to real life, and gently challenge ourselves to grow together. This isn't about perfection, it's about awareness. It's about remembering that you are energy, you are powerful, and you are always in a state of creation. Here, we take what resonates and leave the rest. So take a breath, open your heart, and get ready to become your most magnetic self. Let's begin today's Soul Study. Hello everyone, welcome to Soul Study. I am really excited to start this podcast. It has been something that I've been talking about for quite a while. I have been feeling like I just wanted some space to talk to other people and get my thoughts out on all these wonderful works that I have been reading. I've been really into self-help, and I've been studying for about 5 years on personal development and spirituality, and I just thought it was the right time to take it to the next level. So if you are here with me right now, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it, and I'm really excited for you to go on this journey with me. So I know you probably already know a little bit about how this podcast is going to work, but I wanted to go into a little bit more depth of what you can expect here, and we can also dive into our first book. So this is a book club style podcast where each week we'll be looking into some chapters of one of the books that we are reading, dive in a little bit deeper with further discussion, and also hopefully give you some tips and tricks and tools on how to apply what we're learning into your everyday life. So that'll include journal prompts, some challenges, some spiritual weekly challenges, and so much more. So if you're excited, let's get into our first episode. Oh, and also basically what I wanted, the most important thing, good thing I wrote down some notes, is that this podcast is hopefully designed to help you start living your dream life, to help you upgrade. I really just want this to be a place where if you feel like you're a little bit lost or confused, maybe this place could help you get some answers to that. So I really just want this to be a place to help you live the life of your dreams, to become, like I say, your happiest, healthiest, most magnetic self. So let's dive in. All right. So our first book that we're going to be reading together, hopefully you already got it. If not, pause this video, go grab the book, and come back. Or pause this video after I give you a little bit of a brief introduction on what the book's about. So our first book is Jack Canfield's Key to Living the Law of Attraction. So it's by Jack Canfield and DeeDee Watkins. We're going to go over a little bit about the authors first so that we can kind of know who's writing this book and why should we listen to them. So it's a very short book, as you can see if you're watching the video podcast. I'm showing the book. It's very thin, very small. You could read it in one day if you really just sit down and get to it. I took my time with it. There's also some like writing pages inside, as you can see. So you're gonna want to have like a a pen handy to write in the book. I wrote a little biography about the authors. So I'm just going to read to you what I wrote down preemptively. So if you're watching the video podcast, my eyes are going to be looking somewhere else and not at all of your lovely faces. So Jack Canfield was born on August 19th, 1944 in Fort Worth, Texas, and went on to study at Harvard University and later earning a master's in education. So this man has been learned. He started out working with students and communities, teaching inner city high school classes and helping students find their spark and see their potential. Canfield's life mission has always been about inspiring people to live their highest vision, and he's done that on a global scale. Over the last 4 decades, he's traveled the world conducting transformative workshops and trainings, more than 2,500 events across more than 100 countries, sharing tools for success, confidence, self-belief, and a deeper understanding of how our thoughts shape our reality. Canfield has also trained and certified thousands of successful coaches and speakers around the world. He has been inducted into the Speakers Hall of Fame, named one of the 25 top most influential learners in personal development alongside names like Oprah and Tony Robbins. and has shared his insights on over 1,000 television and radio shows, from Oprah to Good Morning America. So he has been around doing this for a very long time and has some keen insights that many people really like. DeeDee Watkins, the other author, is the co-author of Key to Living the Law of Attraction. In this book, Watkins collaborates with Jack Canfield to help translate the principles of the law of attraction into clear, practical steps that readers can apply in everyday life. She is a mom, entrepreneur, and artist who has designed and created art installations all over the world. Together, DeeDee and Jack explore how our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs influence the experiences we attract, offering exercises and reflections designed to help readers consciously create the life they want. So, it's a pretty short and simple book, and that's why I wanted to have it as our very first book together. If you've read it before, I would suggest rereading it. I've read this about I've only read it twice. I've read it 2 times now. Going through it again with you guys will be my 3rd time going through it. So let's dive into chapters 1 and 2. And like I said, if you don't have the book yet, go get the book, come back, read chapters 1 and 2, and we'll dive into it. Or if you have the book already, pause, read chapters 1 and 2, and then come right back. Okay, so now that you've read chapters 1 and 2, let's talk about it a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be pulling a couple quotes from the book, and then we'll be discussing those a little bit further. So the core message within chapters 1 and 2 talk about what the law of attraction is and how you play a part in it. At first, it was kind of hard for me to accept the concept that I am attracting everything into my life, the good and the bad. But the more I read and thought about this, the more I actually felt comforted that my life was in my hands and I had control over what I'd be attracting into it. But I am curious to know if your first reaction was like this as well. Or if you had a different reaction to the concept. Like, what did you really think about? How did you react to the idea of that you are manifesting and creating and attracting everything that is coming into your life, both the good and the bad? So let me know in the comments what you thought and how you felt about it. I am rather curious to know if I was the only one that was like, that can't be possible. Bad things happen and that's not my fault. Turns out maybe actually it is just a little bit. It is just maybe a little bit. We're going to figure that out together. So our first quote is on pages 7 and 8. Let me find them. Pages 7 and 8. I went through my book and I highlighted stuff too. I recommend something that kind of makes these books feel like they're my own. And I know some people hate writing in books, but for me, just to know it's my own personal book, I kind of jot down some of my thoughts and I highlight some passages that are important to me to make the book my own kind of now. So I'd suggest you do that too if you feel called to do that as well. Okay, 7 and 8. You are always in a state of creation. You get back exactly what you put out there. So when I first read this, this may sound familiar to you because I instantly thought about the law of karma. If you know about karma, it means you get back what you give out. So if you do good in the world, good things will come back to you. If you do bad in the world, bad things will come to you. The law of karma, that's what it made me think of right away. So what this means is that the energy you put out is the energy the universe is going to give back to you. So things even like worry are creative energy. When you're worrying about something, it's just attracting and putting out the energy of taking back the thing that we are worrying about the most. And it also kind of goes in deeper, talking about how manifestation isn't something that we do when we're creating a vision board or writing a letter to our future selves or writing the details out about what we want our future life to be. Manifestation is happening all the time, 24/7. No matter what. It's happening when you're stressed, daydreaming, excited, complaining, feeling grateful. That's all part of manifestation. All that is generating what you're attracting into your life, even sometimes when we don't want it to be. So the first step of creation is awareness, being aware that these thoughts are attracting the things into your life and making you feel or making you vibrate at the frequency of those other things that you're attracting in. So another way you can think about it is if you're waking up every day and thinking about how miserable you are and how everything is an inconvenience, then you're sending out that vibration of having more inconveniences come into your life. That also could just be from your perspective of it as well. If you think about it, like if you think traffic is an inconvenience, it's going to be an inconvenience and you're going to keep thinking about it as such. Whereas you think about traffic as maybe a blessing for you to take your time and slow down a little bit, then maybe that'll be that as well. So that's kind of one example. But the opposite is also true as well. So if you're excited about life, and the universe will give you more things to be excited about. So kind of a personal story of where I have been seeing this in my life, and maybe you can find areas in which you see it in yours as well, is I am, as I said in my introduction, I am a Las Vegas dancer and performer, and I go-go dance at one of the casinos here. Now, what I've noticed is that, and I'm dancing on the casino floor, so people are like playing poker and and like blackjack and like other games around me. And what I've noticed is that when I'm in a miserable mood and I still go up there and I do my job, but I'm just like not feeling connected, I'm feeling a little tired, maybe I'm feeling stressed out, I notice that people do not tip me that much. Like they'll tip me a little bit, and like I smile, I'm very nice, like I do my job, but I've noticed I've gotten less tips. Then if I'm coming into work and I'm feeling motivated, inspired, so in love for life, so grateful, and also kind of like just like, whatever, life's good, I don't really care, I'm having a good time, I notice I always get more tips. Every single time, I always get more tips, and it's so interesting to see that I am calling in the vibration of what I'm receiving. That's kind of a big area where I have seen the law of attraction play in my life. First of all, if you don't believe in this kind of stuff, this probably ain't the podcast for you. But if you believe that I manifested that and generated that, then this is the right place for you. And I say, maybe give it a shot. If you're on the fence, maybe give it a shot. Change your perspective. See what happens. Okay. The second quote, I actually wrote these down on my computer because I think finding them in the book might be kind of... Actually, no, I highlighted them. They're here. Page 9. So now we're going to flip over to page 9. That is where I have the other quote. And it's the beginning of the third paragraph. So it says, you can learn to manage your thoughts and emotions and maintain a vibrational match for what you want to attract by learning to respond instead of just reacting to the situations in your life. So what this means is when something is happening in your life, usually you have an emotional response really quickly that triggers your mood, and then your mood triggers your actions. So what this means that instead of initially just reacting as soon as something happens, take a second, take some time, take a breath, and move to, instead of reacting on your initial emotional response, take a moment to respond in a way that will align yourself with the outcome you would desire from the situation. Take a second to take a deep breath. How would you want to respond in a desirable way? And go with that. It takes some practice. Don't get me wrong. All this stuff takes a lot of practice. I still need to practice all this stuff as well. But what we can learn and how we can practice it is to take a breath and respond instead of react. Doing that will allow you to have a sense of control over the situation, and you'll be able to actively put the energy that you want to put out there. We can't control everything that happens, but the things we can control are meaning we assign things, emotional response, and focus of attention. So in any situation, we assign meaning to it. So we can change the meaning that we assign to a situation. We can also take a second and change our emotional reaction to a situation. We can also change what we are focusing our attention on in the situation. If we're focusing our attention on the negative side of the situation, or if we're using creative problem solving and focusing our attention on maybe some more positive reasons for the situation. Now, the old pattern is reacting, which is unconscious, triggers right away. The new pattern, what we're trying to do, is responding, which is intentional and aligned with the future we desire. So that's what that quote means. I know that is a lot, but let's keep it going. Let's talk about how it relates into everyday life. So let's give some examples. One example, you could say your partner broke up with you. That, of course, should make you feel in your emotions. But what if you think you're never going to find another partner like this again, and you put your energy on that path? Then it's going to make it so much harder to attract and find a partner because you're believing that you're never going to find another partner like that. Whereas if you change your thoughts to ones that a better partner is waiting for you, the one that is meant to be with you is out there, and that this breakup is bringing you closer to them, is setting your vibrational match to attracting that person that is meant for you. Because people can really read your energy. And if you're going out into the world and not even giving people a second chance because you thought you lost the person that was meant for you, people are going to see that, and they're not going to maybe like come up and initiate some kind of conversation with you. Whereas if you are open and you are looking because you know that the right partner is just around the corner and the perfect person is coming to you in its own timing, that means you're so much more open to seeing what's out there, going and meeting new people and all those things. So putting your attention in reframing your thoughts for those situations is a good way to start practicing this. So now that's a big, pretty emotional example. Let's talk about maybe like your bills. Let's say that you forgot to pay a bill and now you have to pay a fine. That sucks. Like, we can all agree that that sucks. But let's kind of like think about it in a different way. The one way we could think about it is, oh shoot, that sucks. I never have enough money. Money always is taken from me and everything is so expensive. Now you're going to go and maybe more fees are going to come to you because you're just talking about how you never have any money. Maybe something happens to your car and it breaks down and you have to suddenly start paying more money. So you forgot to pay this bill and now you have to pay a fine, and you know that more money is leaving you. That's just perpetuating the thought that you have no money. Now, you have to pay a fine. We got this. Let's reframe that. You have to pay a fine. And instead of thinking those negative thoughts, let's reframe that into a positive reaction. Oh, shoot, I have to pay a fine. That's okay, because money always comes to me. I am grateful for these utilities that I am using. I'm so grateful that I get to pay an energy bill, and I can pay an energy bill, and I am able to pay this fine. I have enough funds right now. That's really amazing. I'm going to pay this fine as an action of gratitude for this service that is being provided for me. So now we're reframing that as money is always coming to me. I am so grateful to be able to spend this money. And that's kind of showing the universe that like, oh, she's really grateful for this, or he's really grateful for that. Let's give them more money because they're showing gratitude with it, which is a very positive emotion. So that's just another example of how maybe you can start reframing. And like, these aren't perfect. You're going to have emotional reactions. That's just kind of how it is. But practicing, and like, those are just kind of what I'm coming up off the top of my head. You can use your own creative problem solving in your own situations to help you personalize what's a more positive way to think of this negative situation. So yeah, those are just some of my examples. Now let's move on to chapter 2. There's some quotes in there. Our third quote is on page 13, and it says, page 13, let me find it. Your energy field changes constantly based on your thoughts and feelings. The universe acts like a mirror, sending back a reflection of energy that you are projecting. This kind of is saying the same thing that was said in the last quote. So maybe you've heard of phrases like attracts like. That is kind of an example of this. You maybe even have friends that are very similar to you because your likeness is attracting their likeness. Now, you can also think of this as like a radio station. So whatever we are tuning our radio channel to, whatever channel we're setting it to, that is what we receive coming out of the channel. So let's break it down a little bit, because I really like this example. So let's say you tune your radio station to 99.3 AM, FM, I don't know, 99.3, and all you're getting is static. So you can think about that like life. Maybe you're tuning your radio station to something you don't want. And instead of being like, why isn't this radio station playing anything? Usually what we do is we turn the station maybe to 99.7, and now music is coming out, and it's the exact channel you want. Music is coming out. It's perfect because you tuned your radio to the correct frequency. We have to do that as well. We have to tune our radio ourselves to the correct frequency of what is out there. Now, that can be kind of a hard concept at first, especially if you're very new to spirituality. Everything has a vibrational match. Money, love, everything has a vibrational match. So when you are tuning what's cool about us is we can change our frequency. So when we attune our vibration to match that vibration, it brings things together like a magnet. So this kind of talks about how we are energy. And if you know anything about energy, it cannot be created or destroyed, but it can be changed. So this is kind of cool because we are energetic, conscious bodies, and we can use our consciousness to change our energy. Studies have shown that human electromagnetic fields extend outside of us. So you might listen to this and be like, an energetic field that extends outside of our body. That kind of sounds like something called an aura. And that kind of is the same thing. And what the Heart Math Institute, if you haven't heard about them, they do some really cool experiments about kind of blending spirituality and science together. The Heart Math Institute has shown us that this field can extend from us from a few inches all the way up to 20 feet. So, and it can be and it's of a certain vibrational frequency. So we literally have a field around us telling our physical reality what we're attracting. And that's also why kind of like if you see like one of your friends come into the room and you can just like tell that something's off about them, it's because their energy is vibrating that something's wrong. Whereas if someone walks into the room, they just light up the room and you're like, oh my gosh, that person's energy field is so bright, so light. So that's usually what's happening on the inside as well, as they're feeling really good too. So I actually have a link right here that takes me to, let me click on it really quick. Okay, yeah. So I opened up, I'll share this link in the description below as well and in the notes on the podcast. I'm at the heartmathinstitute.org. And this is an article they have about energetic communication. And I'm just going to read a little quote from it. It says, the heart's electrical field is about 60 times greater in amplitude than the electrical activity generated by the brain. This field, measured in the form of an electrocardiogram, can be detected anywhere on the surface of the body. Furthermore, the magnetic field produced by the heart is more than 100 times greater in strength than the field generated by the brain and can be detected up to 3 feet away from the body in all directions using squid-based magnetometers. So, and you can actually see there's a little picture on here on the website as well. It's really cool. What that means is that scientifically, we know that we are sending out a frequency, and that frequency is dependent on our thoughts and emotions, which is really cool. I love when science actually explains spirituality. So think about that every day. Think about like, oh my gosh, I'm literally sending out a frequency right now. I can like touch, like I can't see it, but like I can probably touch it around me, and other people can probably feel it around me. So I'm going to, maybe take a little bit more time to see what energy I'm putting out into the world. So this can kind of explain why like this energetic field and the frequency you're putting out is what you're attracting back. And this can explain why two people that live in the same world but have totally different realities, like even twins. I think there was a study done, or maybe it was a story. I'm not quite sure, but there was twins, two guys, and they grew up in the same household. They had the same exact traumas happen to them. One of them ended up homeless, and he said, I'm homeless because of the trauma that happened to me. The other twin, he went off to be super successful, and that twin said he was successful because of the trauma that happened to me. So you see, even though the same things happen, they grew up in the same environment, they have very close to similar DNA structures because they're twins, but they had very different outcomes that happened into their life. And it was all because of how they took that trauma and how their mindset was towards it and what they did with that. So that can kind of show you how the energy you're putting out is the energy that you receive. So think about this as like when you're having a bad day, you probably notice that more bad things tend to happen to you. And the opposite is also true. When you're having a great day, you notice like, oh my gosh, this is so great. Great things are happening to me. And if you haven't noticed, maybe start just listening a little bit more, noticing what's going on around you on those days. Now, this is something else. Your inner state isn't visible. It's energetic information. So your inner state isn't visible, but it can still cause change and cause things to happen because it has energetic information, kind of like the wind. If you see the wind, you can't see it, but you notice that it's there because you can see the changes that it makes, like how it blows the leaves and things like that. Okay, I found this other quote pertaining to this, and it says, the human energy field, often referred to as the aura or biofield now in science, typically extends 2 to 3 feet in all directions from the physical body. However, this field is dynamic and can expand up to 20 feet for healthy, happy individuals, while it may be restricted to just inches for those who are sick or weakened. The electromagnetic field research indicates that the electromagnetic field generated by the heart alone extends up to 3 feet from the body. So just the heart, like we read in the Heart Math Institute quote, just the heart can extend up to 3 feet away from the body. But in healthy individuals, that energy field can expand all the way up to 20 feet, which is crazy. So that kind of shows how science is proving that these things with the law of attraction, this energy that we are emitting, bringing the energy that we get, is not only a theory, but is actually happening. So our last quote for the day is on page 14. And please give me feedback. If I'm running through this too fast, let me know. This is my very first episode. I want to hear what you guys think. I want to be able to speak in a way that makes you guys able to understand. Okay. Page 14. At the very top, it says, you are creating everything in your life. Take responsibility for it. So responsibility, what I've noticed, doesn't have to mean blame or shame. Responsibility means that you have influence over it. I've noticed that this makes forgiveness and boundaries so much easier because you have a hand in the situation. You have control in the situation. And the power really starts beginning when we stop saying, why is this happening to me? And we start asking, what energy have I been practicing? This gets us out of the victim mindset and gets us into the creation mindset, because we are all divine creators, every single one of us. We are creating everything that is happening. And what this means is that we always have power over our meaning, our response, and the energy we choose to move forward in any situation. Now, for this quote, a personal story that I have within my life and where I've seen this is actually through my brother. I'm the oldest of 3. I have 2 younger brothers, and the middle child, my brother, his name is Mitchell. My brother Mitchell was the one that actually introduced me to this concept. And at first I didn't really understand it. I was actually kind of debating him on that. I was like, what about all of these situations? They're so bad. Do you still think that that is the person's fault? And he was a very affirmative yes. And I was like, but that doesn't make any sense to me. But I did start to notice that when he was acting like everything was his creation, that everything was more or less his fault, that he was more apologetic, calm, and more motivated in life, which made me very curious to look into it and try it. And we both have very different belief systems, but we both still think of these as the same thing. He helped me find, I love my brother. He helped me find the try me, not why me attitude towards life. Like, life's going to give something to me. Come on, life, try me. I got this. Versus the why me, oh my gosh, poor me aspect. So I'm really grateful and thankful for my brother introducing that to me years ago. And this has given me something that I like to call, maybe it's not the most healthy thing, but this mindset has given me something that I like to call rage motivation. So I get so frustrated with something where I'm just like, you know what? I'm doing it. You know what? Fuck it. I'm doing it. And I just get like so amped and pumped because I was just so frustrated. And I like kind of turned that into like warrior motivation. And so I literally just like get everything done. That can be seen within one of my art projects. We had to do something very tedious, and instead of hiring someone to do it because we didn't have the money, I just decided to learn it and do it myself. And I spent 6 months sitting at the computer working on making this happen. And eventually you will see the project. It is coming out. I will definitely share it here. It's a web series that we've been working on for 8 years, and you will know about it once we are finished because it was a lot of hard work. It's not the best thing in the world, but I'm very proud of it. Now, that's where I've seen a lot of this why me, not try me attitude has been and things like that, because there have been a lot of unfortunate situations within that project. Now, looking at this from real life integration, these chapters 1 and 2, like how can we integrate this stuff into our everyday life? Let's start by looking at life from a state of creation, getting to know yourself as a divine creator instead of a victim in this life. We can see situations in your everyday life as something that you manifested. Just notice it at first. You don't have to do anything about it right away. Just notice that that is something you created. And if you want to, maybe journal about it. See like, oh, like maybe why did this happen in my life? What energy have I been putting into this? And then kind of see like, what does this look like within your relationships, within your money, within your health, within your purpose, your career? Look at how you've been creating in all those aspects of your life. Another thing we can do is start playing with our energy being a vibrational match. Now, if this is too much, you don't have to. But you can start, maybe testing it out a little bit. If you feel like you're ready, feel as though you really dive in deep and start feeling as though you already have your desires. Like, what does that frequency feel like? And kind of play with it a little bit. You maybe have to sit down and meditate and really visualize to start feeling that within your body. But once you feel that within your body, try to play and see if you can bring that feeling back up later in the day. Now, we're just trying to start small here. We're not trying to make huge change. We're just making mental notes about this daily. We're playing a little bit daily. Just the thought process is already a huge step in the right direction. Now, I'm going to give you guys some journal prompts, and then we also have a fun little challenge for the week as well. Now, we're just getting down the ideas of what the law of attraction is and how we are using it in our everyday life. So I have some journal prompts for you. Grab your journal, write them down, and see what you think. So the first journal prompt I have is, where in my life have I been creating by default instead of by design? I'm also going to do these as well. You don't have to share them with anyone. I will personally probably not be sharing them here because, it's your own personal journey, but write it down, see what it has. If you do want to share with me, I would love to hear your thoughts and your feedbacks on these prompts. So feel free to share them. Question number 2, what emotional energy have I been investing lately? And what has it been yielding? And our third question is, what do I want to match the frequency of? Be detailed, read it, and feel it. So with these questions, these are just for you. These are to help you grow, to help you live the life of your dreams. You do not have to share them with anyone, but if you do want to share them with me, I would love to hear your answers to them if you feel open to it. Now it is time for our weekly soul challenge wheel spin. That is right, everyone. We are going to let fate and the universe decide what we are going to be doing this week. I thought, what better thing to do on this podcast than give us a weekly challenge that we let the fates of the universe decide upon. So, okay, guys, I am technologically still new to running a podcast, and I don't know what the best way is to show you guys the wheel spin if you are watching. So I'm just going to kind of hold my laptop up to my camera, and you guys are going to see what it lands on. So I have clicked spin. It is spinning. It is spinning. It is spinning. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? What did it land on, guys? It landed on word of the week. It landed on word of the week. Okay, my friends, let me go and tell you what word of the week is all about. Word of the week means we get to spin another wheel, and it's going to pick a word for us to use as a lens to look at the world through for the week. So here's our words wheel. Let me start the spin. It's spinning. There it goes. And our word of the week is, what is it? Receive. Okay, guys. So our word of the week is going to be receive. So what we're going to do is we're going to journal about the word receive, look at where it pops up within our life, and just kind of make notes and let the word guide you this week. So where in your life are you receiving? And this could be receiving joy. This could be receiving love. This could be receiving money. Where are we receiving? And then also maybe feel a little bit grateful for it if you would like to. So that is our word of the week spiritual challenge. Please let me know how that is going for you. I would love to hear how your word of the week challenge is going. Thank you guys so much for listening in. Take what resonates, leave the rest, and I hope you have an amazing week becoming your happiest, healthiest, most magnetic self. Until next time, bye.